Hello everyone, welcome back to Kirklees Guitar School podcast. I'm joined with my co-host, Mr. George Loveridge. How are you, George?
I'm cold again.
You're cold.
I don't know if you can tell everyone, but it's cold in
we've
here.
got us jumpers on. Has this week been a rock or a roll?
It's been a roll.
Oh dear.
I snapped the neck off one of my guitars over the week. Yeah.
Right. Have you got any pictures I can overlay of this?
It's a key ring. Ever since I've been teaching here, got you. I've had a guitar key ring. It's been about 3 inches tall.
What were you? That one with your studio keys on?
Not quite. It used to be on my studio keys. It's now on my gig bag.
Right.
And it, for some reason, just like metal does becomes brittle, and it snapped. And there's
you
just
had
a body.
Me for a second, then you absolute sausage.
Honestly, it hurt me as much as a real guitar breaking. You know, because I've had that for nearly 5 years as I've been here. And it snapped. So it's not really a roll. I just thought I'd test you like you got me with the Jag the other week.
Yeah, okay.
Other than that, what else has been going on in my world? We've been thinking of the summer bands.
Yes, we've now booked a venue for the summer concert for the school, which is going to be good. So we've booked Home Firth Civic Centre.
Wicked.
Biggest stage we've ever had and biggest capacity. So we better fill it.
That's just for your ego.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be good. Guys that come to see us in person, there'll be more details within the next week or so to follow on that. And we'll start getting you all booked in.
We will. Only other thing, we've started putting shorts up again on the channel. And we spend an hour filming this show. You spend all day editing it for it to have, 500 of you fantastic loyal viewers to watch it. And then the scummy part of the internet comes up for the shorts. And it gets
you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So shorts equals success. We don't know. But yeah, it is a rock for me. What about you? Rock or roll?
Yeah, it's been good. Lots going on. For the middle of term, it normally all calms down the middle of term. But loads of extra stuff's coming. So as you know, I'm going out in March to Spain with Northern Live.
Which is next month now.
It is next month, and I've just got all the charts and all the materials for it. There's 20 new songs to learn. So I've been a busy boy.
That's doable.
It is.
Not with your schedule. But it's doable.
I'll show you some of the charts, and then you tell me.
Okay.
There's quite a lot of it. There's, this is 145, this is great. And then you see chords like G11th over B, and you're like, what?
Isn't that for the keys player?
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I'm working through it. I'm really enjoying it actually, but it's one of those where I've got to sort of break it up into chunks and go, right, today I'm sorting that block out and then I'm sorting this one. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'll guys who follow us on the Facebooks and stuff, I'll post some pictures and stuff of that while I'm out there. And I've just put the finishing touches to the Notes on the Fretboard course that's out on the Academy. So guys in the Academy will get the last 3 lessons of that on Monday, tomorrow morning. Those will be coming out for you to watch. And we've had a really good response from that. So there's a post to follow everybody else about that and how you can access that if you're interested in it. But I think it's some of the best online teaching I've done. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. So enough waffling.
That's it.
What we're talking about today.
So today, how to build speed playing lead guitar. We're going to start with Pick Our Brains today because so many people over a lot of episodes have asked, can you do an episode on how to build speed playing electric guitar, playing lead guitar? So your prayers have been answered today. We're going neck deep, first of all, from there. Why? Top tips. Why do you need to play quickly? How can you go about playing quickly? That incorporates our technical focus, looking at slow and steady ways to practice, metronomes, drum machines, exercises for faster picking. I've got some stuff I'm going to go through, as have you. We're then going to look at our tone talk once again. Notes versus chord playing. Can you get quicker chords? Can you get quicker notes? Should you play clean? Should you play distorted? Or when should you play distorted? And then we've got a jam. So this is like an OG KJS
like
podcast episode.
Isn't it? Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So why are we talking about this today?
Well, look, as I said, lots of people have asked for it, and it's as a guitarist, you want to play quickly. You want to play through notes. You see Angus Young in your case, or Steve Vai in this kind of case, playing quickly, and it's something we all want to do.
Okay. Slight controversial take on this. Okay. I don't think guitarists want to play fast. What I mean by that is I don't think they want to play like a Gatling gun like Yngwie or Michelangelo Betti or any of those guys. I think they come across trickier technical passages and their left and the right hand aren't in sync with each other.
I would agree with that.
I think that's the frustration, and I actually think as guitar teachers, that's when somebody presents me with that problem, it's not actually an issue of speed. It's about synchronicity.
It is. I see it with chords a lot. I introduce a strumming pattern, or I want to introduce strumming patterns, but the chords can't keep up with the right hand, as you say.
Will you think of some sort of quicker technical passages that we get asked as guitar teachers to play all the time? Something like that sort of fast hammer on and pull off bit in End of Sultans of Swing. It's a really, really good example. Well, that's not actually that fast when you break it down. It's technique, isn't it? What are some other kind of fast
The Trooper
bits?
was coming to mind straight away.
Yeah.
The intro of the Trooper doing that. So I'm only picking, if I'm doing 5 notes, I'm only picking 3 times because of all the hammer-ons. But if you can't, it's usually, I'd say usually the left hand that doesn't catch up.
Yeah, and it's sort of how I think the best way to sort of think of it is how can I get my because teamwork makes the dream work, doesn't it? If you can get your left and your right hand in sync, it's very rare that I come across something that's that fast I can't play it unless it's like Bonamassa or Eric Johnson or it's sextuplet stuff, which I'm working on at the minute. And I'm not practicing it with a metronome at 120 beats a minute. I'm practicing with a metronome at 60 beats a minute, and I'm gradually
Working your way up.
get the technique first, and then you'll be able to play anything at any speed that you want. So and we're going to delve into some of those strategies today. So, where are we? Top tips. What are some top tips?
Start slow. Really, really boring. Start slow and simple. If you think today my practice is going to be single note playing, I want to get quicker, take spider exercise or a scale that you're comfortable with and start, as you say, 60 BPM and start slowly and work up from there, really. I don't want to give too much away because I'm going to come back to that later
Well,
on.
you've got a really interesting take on it with the drum machine, but
yes.
I like to use, I've got a metronome here in the quad. Now, I'll start, what have I got here? I've got a drum machine at 80 beats a minute. Well, sorry, I've got a metronome at 80 beats a minute. And you'll hear the bass drum of the metronome hitting. That's
number
1, 2,
That's good.
3, 4. Now, what I start with students with this, I say, can we play a pentatonic scale in the first position, and can you play every note, every time the metronome hits, that's
a note.
1, 2, 3, 4 in A minor. Double up on the way down. Okay, great. We're not really reinventing the wheel there, are we? But that's the way to start. So if you can't get that on the money every time, that's what I want you to practice.
Fair dues.
If you're and I'm just using shape 1 A minor pentatonic because everybody knows shape 1 A minor pentatonic. You could use spider exercise, major scale, minor scale. If you're doing some modal scales, whatever, doesn't matter as long as you're playing A and scale.
Yes.
Okay. If you're comfortable with that, we could go to quavers next.
Double time.
So what I'm going to do is I've got a slightly different take on this. We're going to what I call doubles. Now, rather than playing each note once, we're going to play twice. Correct. So I'm going to play 2 lots of that A note on the 5th fret, 2 lots of that C.
I think this is where your right hand starts to sync up now. You're giving it more responsibility.
Absolutely, but the key to it is down and up. If you're going...
We're not James
with all
Hetfield, down and up, please. Yeah.
So what does that sound like? 2, 3, 4. So I'm putting an extra note in that gap. So you're okay with that?
Yeah.
Let's kick it up a gear again. Rather than going to doubles, can we play it in quavers but as singles? So we're essentially playing it twice as quick. Yeah. So you could go... Sorry, that's semi-quavers, isn't it?
Yeah. So you alluded to it there. I would say semi-quavers if you're happy keeping the metronome at this speed.
What does that sound like?
3, 4...
We're a bit off there. Let's try again. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's it. So that's 2, 3, 4, 1 E under, 2 E under, 3 E under, 4 E under. That's how we're counting those.
That's how I practice my scales. Now, our colleague, Tom, here at the school, let me know, guitarist Tom, not drummer Tom.
Okay, yeah.
There's a great website called Accelerome, which is an accelerating metronome. It's free to use.
Oh, okay.
And it's really masochistic. Yeah, and you can make it as masochistic as you want to. So what I'd do is I'd start the metronome at 60 beats a minute, and I'd be practicing something. Yeah, and you've been given 4 different levels there of what you can practice. I would personally use semiquavers because my picking's fairly dialed in. But over the space of 5 minutes, I would instruct it to raise the tempo to maybe 140 BPM. Maybe
Just every now and again, massive rise.
Yeah, well, and what you can do is you can set it in quite kind of gentle increments, or you basically it's a table. It's almost like a spreadsheet, and you're in charge of how quick or how masochistic you want to make it. That's how I practice picking, and I've had a lot of people in the lesson room this week working on various iterations of that. Now, I think doing with the metronome work, you want to think of it as like 1% increases. What does that mean? Change over time happens in small, tiny little increments.
Yep.
How would you advise somebody implement something like this into their practice routine?
Okay, I would actually take a step back before. So I get the scale. I'd like to think everyone watching, unless you've only just bought your first guitar today, you can do. Get alternate picking with that. But if you're thinking, I like the sound of those that semiquaver, I would stick on just one note. Can you bring the metronome back for me? Because your right hand might not be able to catch up.
I'm saying yes.
Oh.
There we go.
So I wait and I just get it in my right hand.
1 E and a 2 E and a 3.
Or even the quavers. 1 and 2 and 3. If you can't understand it on paper, don't even bother picking up your guitar. And that's not me being evil and mean. You mentioned synchronizing your hands up. If you can't sit on just keeping one note welded to the fretboard, you need to work on that right hand first, I think.
I'm currently working on a series of exercises that the guys that follow the online stuff that we do will be able to sort of almost practice along this stuff with me.
That's cool.
And I think tying that into trying to get the 5 shapes of the pentatonic under your fingers, I think there's 2 kind of really key concepts that we can kind of fold into one
So it's
resource.
like VHS jazzercise for guitar.
100%. Well, I said a couple episodes ago about the Frank Gambale.
Oh, you did.
What's it called? Chop Shop is his version. I'm sort of thinking of that, but for guitar players that have played for sort of between a year and 18 months, rather than everything sort of heavy shredding.
So you mentioned
stuff.
how will we go? You meant your 1%. I would go 5 BPM at a time.
Right.
Maybe
okay.
even I usually do 10 with my students because there is a difference between 80 BPM and 85 BPM. I'd say, right, let's try 90. You can get that. I would go up and I would get to the point, if you think, right, I'm at 100 now, but I'm really starting to feel like I'm carrying too much. That's where you start, and that becomes your new baseline for next week.
And where do you feel like's the ceiling? Let's say that a student's been...
You drop in notes.
Right,
you drop in notes if you're playing them, and you be really harsh with yourself. You're only cheating yourself. You know, when you say sneak the vegetables in.
That's a proper teacher thing to say.
It is. You know, sneaking vegetables in.
Yeah.
You say, Mum, I'm finished, but you've got a hand full of peas. It's like, well, you're not going to grow big and strong now, are you?
What I mean, and you might have misunderstood what I said, what I mean is, let's say a student's been diligently practicing this, let's say for 6 weeks. They started at 60 BPM and they've crawled up in increments of 5 BPM and they're getting...
Oh, so we're now at 180 beats.
Yeah, how far do you go?
Well, as you said, you could be like really mean to yourself and go, I've got to get it at 220 or something. All right, speed, you can play some much more complicated things at 80 BPM than you can at 180 BPM. So think, right, you've done position 1 pentatonic, I'm going to play position 5 of the major scale now. And I reckon that because then you're getting the technical work, you're getting the grey going as well, because you can train your fingers to do one thing.
This particular way of practicing it, I'd sort of recommend that once you kind of hit 120 beats a minute, you need to sort of, there's a whole
Change
other
the exercise, I think.
There's a whole other kind of, there's a whole other level to this kind of practice once you've got the fundamentals. What
Definitely.
we're talking about today, I consider to be level 1. When you move into the next step, say you're getting these exercises in semiquavers to 120 beats a minute and a student's presenting me with that, I will then, I've got a whole other kind of way of thinking about the metronome where actually you start dropping beats and going backwards and you start thinking about doubling up and playing in double time, the metronome in half time and that kind of stuff. So little and often, and also the number's not indicative of how well you've got this concept. It's fact that you can just play it with whatever you're presented with. most things that I practice with the metronome, believe it or not, are sort of 60 BPM and below. I set this metronome up here, and you went,
You said
that's
it at
a bit
60,
slow.
and I said that's tough. It's doable, but I think 80 is just a good place to start. That's where I usually
Personally, I say 60, but anywhere between 60 or 80, because I'm sort of the school of it's being cruel to be kind, and actually, if you're getting it in early and you can get used to it at 60 beats a minute, 80 BPM will feel like a walk in the park.
It will. But then again, you think of most songs we listen to, they're usually at like 120 is moderate, moderato. This is what you call grave, dead slow. Getting really posh and technical for a Thursday morning.
To say I've got a degree in music and I've worked in music for,
I'm not trying to shortchange you by any stretch.
No, but like it's just one thing in my time playing music is never gone in is all those sort of
all that jazz,
all those terms. It just
Fez.
doesn't. Legato and staccato. That's about as far as my
syncopation is the main one to remember. But
yeah, okay.
So yeah, drum machines, metronomes. See, we're going to look at drum machines in a bit. I've started leaning more towards drum machines recently.
And why is that?
It just sounds so much better. Now that one's actually quite encouraging because you've got the bass drum on beat one, but instead of the it does drive you mad, and students really hate it, and it reminds you of a time when you're failing. This sort of thing. If you listen to a song that you heard when you're going through a breakup, it makes you sad. If you listen to a metronome randomly, you think, "Oh, that's when I couldn't play Sultans of Swing at 70 BPM." I think the drum machine is it's so much more inclusive, and it'll just go on for a lot longer. I personally, and I think students have resonated with that this week with me.
And I think as well, the best way to practice this is not go right. I'm sorting my picking out, and I'm going to spend an hour a day doing
and it'll be
picking
done
now. Yeah, it's never done.
It's part of your practice. Like when I come into work now, it's freezing, and I will put a drum machine on YouTube, and I will just go through some scales or some riffs until I can get them spot on, and that's my warm up, and then I'll play nonsense stuff.
But I think as well, what's maybe not so obvious to everybody is it's not just learning how to. It's not just practicing your scales or getting your left and right hand working together, but you're also working on your internal clock and your timing as well. It's really a buy one get one free type.
Some people
practice.
can, and if you're in the audience, that's fine. But some people just cannot play in time. I teach a lad; he's really into his AC/DC, but his natural timing is non-existent. And we'll get there. We'll get there. But say we've been playing Back in Black, and it's a lottery when he's going to put those chords down, and it's just it will come. It will come.
I don't think there's a lot of people that do come to me in the lesson room with timing issues and say I just can't play in time, and it's just you've just not had it explained to you in a way that resonates with you, and you don't have the sufficient way to practice it at home. If I'm practicing with a metronome with the students in the lesson room, we've got a PA system in our room, so I can turn the music or the metronome up as loud as we want to the lyrics in the next village if I'm not careful. But oftentimes when people are practicing with the metronome, they might have it on the phone.
They can't hear it.
But the guitar's really loud, and they go, well, I can't keep up to it because I keep losing it. It's because actually that wants to be so much louder than your guitar.
Absolutely.
If you're practicing with the metronome at home and you're using just a free app on your phone, which there's nothing wrong with
No, if you just Google metronome, Google's got one. That's all you need.
Take the volume off on your electric guitar.
Well, that kind of comes into the tone talk a little bit later, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think as well, like, you just need to, like, if it's not working for you, rather than just going, no, I need to try harder, kind of look at the overall, why is it not working?
Practice smarter, not harder. So we're going to try something a little bit different now. Imagine you're in the lesson room with me. So this is the drum machine. You can hear it's an artificial drummer. This is set at 100 beats per minute, so it's potentially a little bit quick, but I think it works for this exercise I've got. So we're going to flash it on screen. I've got 3 levels here. This is position 5 of your major scale. So I'm going to just play the top half, the first octave. I'm going to work back again. So as you can see on screen, I'm just going to play crotchets with the track. So I'll wait for beat 1, 2, 3, 4. And I will just work on that until you're happy with it. I'll go again. Again, I'm doing alternate picking like we looked at earlier.
Really nice, measured, controlled. There's, and like the reason that we've put that the way that it is you've got the scale, and then you've got that last note, that C note to hang on to.
Tells you you've finished.
And you just use that to collect yourself. You go 1, 2, 3, 4.
So you've got 3 beats to play with to psych yourself up to
But if you need a bit of extra time, It's not the end of the world.
So let's say you've got that. Let's look at level 2. Take some time with that. You can screenshot it. I think you're going to put it in the group as well. I'm going to go to quavers. You can hear it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4.
So by putting that into quavers, you're playing it at twice the speed we did previously.
Like you said earlier, I've got level 2 with 0.5 if you like. Put it as quavers. That doesn't even last for a bar now.
Do it in the right key though.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And you could always layer it back to back. Now I am sacrificing the end note there, but you can just keep it going. So that's level 2.5, the quavers. So that's the semiquavers, sorry. Level 3, I'm putting some theory in there a bit more. I've called this the 1-4-5 approach. I'm going to play that scale, if you're happy with it, and I'm going to change the start note each time for the 1st degree of the scale, the 4th degree of the scale, and the 5th degree of the scale.
So you're essentially moving the root around.
It's almost like a bass line, I'm moving the root around. And of course, I have to sacrifice the end note each time to keep in time, to keep the numbers adding up. So let's see what that looks like. So that's still as quavers, and that is indicative of a lead line. We're talking about lead guitar playing here. That's more like something you'd hear in a song. So I'll go over that one more time, just so you can hear what we're looking like. If you want to get really cocky, you go. And that's how you work it up in your own practice. All the while, that's going on and not driving you mad. That's quite enjoyable to listen to compared to a metronome.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people I think a lot of people think of a metronome and think...
Yeah, it drives you up the wall.
And I think it's really important that you kind of, you take away from this. We've taken you through quite a few examples that accelerated really quickly because we don't want to waste any of your time, believe it or not. But I think as well it's really important that you think of this as find the bit where you're currently at, even if it is the very first step, doing it in crotchets. But now you have your roadmap of where you're gonna go.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, drum beat, use that exercise, or even find a riff that you're working on and go from that. It could be something like. So I didn't get that pull off quite right. Maybe I need to slow the drum machine down, and that's how you do it. So another thing with all this metronome stuff and drum machines, are you getting quicker at chord changes, or are you getting quicker at note playing? So we're talking about lead guitar. What if your chord changes aren't there?
Well, you can apply the same. You can apply the same thing, but I find you could even, if you, depending on how horrible you want to be to yourself, you could use your metronome to practice going between playing chords and playing rhythm, because that's one of the hardest things with the guitarist, kind of in the sort of level 2 to level 3, is literally taking one hat off and putting the other on. If you're playing, any kind of I don't know, you're doing.
I've got a perfect example for this. Yeah.
Into the chords for it. I mean, go on.
Okay, set me up the metronome, please. So you might recognise this. So that there, I've had so many students struggle doing that because they're playing the power chords, which are nice big, and then your finger on that C chord is in the same place as you need to be, but they can't get back to the power chord. Now those sort of double stops and diodes, they're mini power chords, and you could still class it as rhythm playing, but I think that's quite lead-esque, the whole. But playing, you notice I played distorted there. That's another point I want to bring up. I think you need to just hold yourself back a minute. If you want to start playing these scales like we're talking about at the beginning of the show, it's going to get so messy. I think you should start clean. And if you are practicing the trooper, say start steady. Because you can hide behind the gain. Yeah, I've got it.
But
you can really hide. But
once you have got the clean technique and then you pile the gain on it, it's almost like you've really kicked it up again.
Oh, massively. It starts to sound like the record. That's like strumming patterns. You've just played 4 downstrokes. You've now played down, down, up. It sounds like music. If you're playing something, I've said before, with like that needs a flanger or delay and you're not, basically it's when you hear the full, I suppose it's like going from like a meat-free burger to a meat burger. You're like, oh my God, what is this? What's this? And that's what your effects will do. So again, it's being cruel to be kind, like you said earlier.
And practice, the definition of practice, it's like make it so that you're almost under test conditions, aren't you? You want to do it in such a way where you're kind of optimizing every corner of it that you can, but also you're having that honest conversation with yourself, and you're like, no, what do I actually sound like? You know? And I think it's now we're spoiled with Boss Katanas and quad cortexes and all the, we've never had as much gear. But actually, sometimes the best thing that you can do is plug into a little Fender
Just
clean
an
amp
and just play guitar.
And just play guitar.
It's like, if anyone's into fitness, I'm not particularly at all, but it's like if you're doing reps or something, it's like, do you need to get that rep up to 90 degrees, or are you getting it, a bit shorter?
Yeah.
And are you selling yourself short just to say, I've done 10 reps at 50 kg or whatever? It's the same with anything in life, I suppose. You just got to crack on.
You have, and I think on that note, I think we've
cracked on enough. Though.
I think we have. The best way to approach any of this stuff is find one little thing that we've talked about today that's making you sweat, and go, right, I'm going to practice that for a week at a steady tempo, and then at the end of the week, because you want to be practicing this really in your practice routine, probably 4 times a week for 5 minutes, let's say. Look at it at the end of the week and go, have I really made any progress? If no, you need to up the time. If yes, you need to make it a little bit harder than next.
Well, that's like some people hate video themselves. Video yourself, check in on Monday, check in the following Monday. Or your metronome, it doesn't lie. If you can play at 80 this week and you can't play at 90 next week, it's night and day.
That is a top tip, though. Because sometimes people get so engrossed in what they're doing and they start worrying about what they're playing and not listening to what's happening coming out the speaker with the metronome.
You get blind to it or deaf to it.
That's a top tip. Film yourself every now and again doing it, and you'll really be able to kind of zone in on where you're going wrong.
It happens in this show. We'll do a jam and I'll think, that was cool. It'll come up on my TV on the Sunday. I'll go, bloody hell, that's not good. And that's just how it goes with guitar playing sometimes, isn't it?
So on that note, we'll call that for today.
And we'll have a bit of a jam to end.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next week. Oh, and fire.